Yes, indeed. It's on once again, man. Yo, Yay, Ty Dolla Sign, Big Boy, Big Boy's Neighborhood. They just dropped the interview of the month of the week. You understand what I'm saying? This interview, yo, it's so much to uncover. I really got to take my time because I think this is the most poised we seen Ye. This is the most contained, the most calm, the most forward thinking, the most clear brain version of Ye that we've seen in a very long time. Now, am I one of those people that's like, oh, the guy went crazy? No, I'm not one of those people that sides towards the, adverse mental health of Ye. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that this is the first time in a long time that Ye's been comfortable enough on a platform to really give his truest thoughts without being interrupted, without being derailed, without being converted into a believer of whatever the agenda is on that platform at the time. No, this was unadulterated Ye. This was take your time Ye. This was all topics are in your ball court Ye, and I'm here for it. So just jumping right into it. The interview, Big Boy, when you come to Big Boy's neighborhood, he has this keen approach and this ability to provide comfort to the guests, to make the guests feel as if it's a safe space. And I think he's masterful at that. I think he does a great job at that, right? So right off the bat, the guests that come into Big Boy's neighborhood, they're never on edge. From a viewer standpoint, someone watching it as a third party, we're looking at the guests in their most comfortable state. They're never on edge. They never feel rushed. They never feel like they have to position themselves to answer questions a certain way. It's almost as if they're speaking from their heart as opposed to whatever their publicist says or whatever the media training led them to, however the media training led them to answer questions. So I just have to get that out the way first, and that kind of sheds light to what we'll get into in the further portions of the interview and why he was able to express himself so freely. So again, it starts off, kind of slow. They want to ease into things. One interesting thing that I noticed was I think Ye wanted the album to be clean, the Vultures album to be clean. And when he presented this to Ty Dolla Sign said, "Nah, bro, nah, I don't want it to be clean. I want it to be secular. I want it to be secular music, And I think that was a very pivotal, very important role for Ty to play because basically, as I see it, Ye is masterful. Ye is the engineer. Ye is the orchestrator. But I think Ty Dolla Sign almost had to play A&R for this project, and I think that was very, very, very important because if this project was completely clean, I don't think that it would have had the oomph that it did. Now, I know that says more about us as a society than it does the artist because why do we need curses? Why do we need it to be secular music? Why do we need all that? We don't know. But it just hits different. You know what I'm talking about? It hits different when it's actually vulgar. So I think there is a time for music that is clean, that is appropriate in all settings. And that's why we have, Ye go off and make Jesus is King. Ye go off and make ultralight beams, even though Chance kind of ruined it because he cursed on his verse, but whatever. The point that I'm trying to make is we had Sunday service already. So it's important for Ty Dolla Sign to come in and say, hey, this is a collaborative effort. It's supposed to be 50-50. So my 50% opinion says I want it to be vulgar. I need it to be explicit. I need it to hit a certain way. And I think that was very important, very pivotal. So now moving on, it was a slow pace, but I liked how everything unfolded. It was basically a conversation about Ye has so much to do at certain points. He called on God. But Ye's whole positioning is that a lot of devout Christians, they call on God and they simply just call on God. There's no action behind calling on God. The thing about faith is you have to do your part as well. You have to pray, you have to talk to the big man, you have to pray too, but you also need to take action. So I think that for all of the religious viewers that are watching, I think that's a very important message. Don't just pray and then get up and eat a big ass burrito. No, pray and still put your one foot in front of the other and move. You understand? It's not just about I said a prayer, I'm just going to leave it in God's hands and I'm not going to do any of the work. So I think that part was very important for Ye to kind of express because he was going through a lot of tribulations, this past 2 years, whether it was his mental health, whether it was him being blackballed from the industry. So I do like that he touched on that. Another part of the interview is when Big Boy asked, how he creates certain tracks, and Ye's answer was, I turn to North sometimes. Northwest is his daughter, so he turns to North, and he'll ask her input, and I think that's kind of cool, man. To have such a creative, to have such a famous father, such a infamous dad, and you still have a portion in his creative process. I think that was pretty dope, and he goes on to say like how he likes to craft his music, and the conflict of making it clean versus explicit, and so on and so forth. So the interview furthers, and it was a part where he touches on the Yeezy pods, right? Now we all know when the Yeezy pods originally dropped, they were $200, and it was kind of, it was mixed emotions about it. So basically, Ye said that he only sold $3,000 in sales for the original Yeezy pods drop, right? So they basically profited like $1 million from that original drop, and for him, he felt that that was low. So I guess in turn, this is what promoted the idea of a $20 shoe. So ultimately, it worked out. That in tandem with the Super Bowl commercial, the $20 pie was hitting. You know what I'm saying? People from all walks of life, was people that don't even care about Kanye or Yeezy at all. They was copping in pies. You know what I'm saying? And the overall theme, I don't want to be too long winded here, but the overall theme with the interview was how people counted him out, and that's also an interesting topic, because it's like, yo, this is Ye we're talking about. This is not like an entry level artist. This is arguably the biggest, the best, the most creative artist of all time. So for Ye to say that he was counted out at certain points, and why Vultures reaching #1 was so important to him, and it was a big fu to the industry, to the doubters, to the people that tried to blackball him, that was so important. And that was very interesting to me, because a person with his acclaim, to feel as though they've been shunned or they've been slighted to the point of no return, and they needed something like a Vultures to come back to prominence, that's very interesting. Is braggadocious is Ye is, and as much machine, I can't even say the word machismo as Ye has, for him to feel slighted in that way, that he needed to prove himself, that's very important, man. And that's also a message to you as the listener. We're all casual listeners of Ye, and I think that we love him so much because he's like everybody's spirit animal. So with that being said, even the spirit animal himself can be a mascot for others to have courage and for others to have confidence, but even the spirit animal sometimes faces hardship or internal conflict where they feel like they may not be enough, or they have to prove themselves again. So it's kind of dope to get a peek into someone's mind that's as complex as Ye, and I thought that that was really cool, man. It was really cool. It's also dope when he touched on his foreshadowing ability, and how he manifests things to being #1. How Jesus is king. He manifested that. He said that Ty Dolla said that Ye called him once, 2-3 years ago, however long ago it was, and say, yo, we got to make songs for God. We got to sing to God. And there we have it. Jesus King was born. Sunday service was born. So there's portions of the interview that's very important for the listener. Like, you really, if you're a fan of this man, these pieces of the interview are very solid, because it tells you a lot about how he rationalizes things, his internal way of thinking, and putting two and two together. There was one part of the interview, and I thought this was interesting, because as I said earlier, Big Boy is the place where you go where it's non-confrontational, where you're at your most comfortable levels, right? But there was a part of the interview where Big Boy even had to get shit off his chest. Listen, man, I don't know what happened in 2024, but Cat Williams set off the truth serum like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's just starting this year off with the proper energy. If it's something that you left on the table in 2023, we coming back for seconds, man. So basically, in this part of the interview, Big Boy said, yo, it was a time where I was at one of your events, and I got asked to leave, maybe because I was keeping it too real with you. Like, you have a lot of yes men around you, a lot of people that are paid and on your payroll. So maybe some of those people can't be forthright like they should. Maybe some of those people can't be as honest as they would like to. So me, as your friend, I provided some sort of opinion or some sort of feedback. You weren't feeling it, and shit, Yay exiled Big Boy. So it was kind of dope to see Big Boy break that character and kind of get into his bag and say like, yo, I'm a man, I'm from LA, like nobody, because they ran a lot of articles that said that Big Boy got manhandled and thrown out of there physically, like, you know what I'm saying? And that just wasn't the case. So it was kind of dope to see Big Boy let his hair down and kind of let his nuts hang, because we never seen Big Boy do that. We never seen him express himself in that way on the platform. So that was kind of dope, man. But yeah, man, all in all, I think the interview was very solid. I think if there was any need for redemption, this is not necessarily the platform for redemption per se, but I think this was a clean interview from Ye. We don't see Ye do interviews often, so I think that this was a dope way for him to just flush out his thoughts as usual, because he always has a lot to say. He always has a lot going on in that little mind, in that mind. So yeah, man, Vultures 2 still ain't dropped. We still a little aggy about that. Vultures 2 still ain't dropped. There's no new updates on any Vultures 2 merch right now. But we waiting, man. We waiting to see what's going on. But all in all, man, we feasting today. We got a new interview. Oh, another thing too, right? It's very interesting the rollout of this interview, because at first look, I found out about this interview just through Reddit, right? And it was playlisted on Big Boy's channel. It wasn't necessarily promoted. And while I was watching the interview was privated. So therefore, you couldn't, if I sent someone the link, they couldn't watch it because it was privated. I was only able to see the interview through its completion because I was already watching it. So I guess it already had saved on my phone or whatever the case is. So I don't know where we're at now. Let me just look quickly through his. Yeah. So as of right now on YouTube, the interview still isn't front page. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not sure if they're going to re roll it out, or I'm not sure if we were even supposed to know about it this early to begin with. But I guess keep checking back to Big Boy's YouTube channel. It should be dropping sometime within the next couple hours or so, but I was just blessed enough that I was able to watch prematurely, quote unquote. But yeah, man, check it out once it drops. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We feasting right now, man. We trying to grow the channel to at least 2,000 subs. Right now, I think I'm at like 1,500, man. The road to 2,000. Wow, you feel me? Hit the like, hit the comment, hit the share, this is guy. Let's go.